there. I'm Nadira Jamal, hostess of the Belly Dance Geek Clubhouse online radio show, and welcome to this special interview series with instructors from the 2015 Las Vegas Belly Dance Intensive. The intensive, now in its final year, will be held September 10th through 13th at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. To make sure that you don't miss out on this epic event, visit bellydanceintensive.com. My guest today is Phoenix of Denver, who will be teaching a session called Express Yourself, Turn On Your Performance. Phoenix is a Colorado-based performer, instructor, and event sponsor. Belly dancing since 1997 and teaching since 2002, Phoenix continues a lifelong passion for dance. You can check her out at phoenixdancing.com, which is PHOENIX-dancing.com. Thanks so much for joining me, Phoenix.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about the workshop that you'll be teaching?
Yeah, this is a workshop that I developed a couple of years ago, and I keep evolving it from feedback. Basically, it works with theatrical exercises and some other kind of a little more personal exercises to help get people comfortable with portraying the emotion they really want to portray within their dance. Whether that's something simple as happy or something that's a little deeper or dark. We really work with a bunch of theatrical exercises that kind of take your mind away from that idea of I'm trying to develop a performance and just let you have fun. And then maybe break into those areas that someone has never tried or maybe has never gotten comfortable with portraying on the stage.
And what might some of those areas be?
Well, one, believe it or not, within belly dancing is the kind have been trained that it's a little much to be out in public and be too sexy. And we do some exercises that get people comfortable with, it's okay. And then if they decide that that's not for them on the stage, that's one thing, but at least it gives them a chance to give it a try. But I'd say sexy, dark is another one because some people are always happy. And then the other one is some people are always dark and need to work on their happy side. So it's really a gambit depending on who shows up.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the benefits of taking a more theatrical approach to this?
Well, I think it takes you outside of the 1, 2, 3, I'm going to execute this move, and now I'm going to do a hip circle to, hey, I picked this song because it made me feel a certain way. And am I focusing on showing that to the audience? So instead of focusing on what the body's doing and what the next movement is, we focus on the feeling. And theater's more in that area, I think, sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I love what you said about taking the focus from, the immediate thing that you have to do next. My background is in improvisation, but I also know a lot of folks who have talked a lot about how they create choreography. And I think from both approaches, one of the difficulties is, okay, what am I going to do next? And when you're thinking about that in terms of the next 8 counts, you can get really frantic, whether you're doing that in the moment like I do, or whether you're sitting down with paper, it seems really daunting. But if you can kind of think about a larger phrase or a larger section, and what am I trying to express, and what am I feeling here, and what's my intention, that really, it deepens the performance for one thing, but I also find that it just takes some of the pressure off, because you have more time to enjoy that moment.
You really do. You really do. And you can approach your choreography from both directions. I myself, too, am an improv dancer. When I'm by myself on the stage, very little is planned. And so I usually am more in the moment. But when I do choreography, I plan out the moves so they make sense with the music and the musicality. But for me, coming from the improv side, I can't leave the musicality and what that music is saying, and then how I want to take what that music says to me and show that to the audience. And so that's kind of where this whole workshop developed from, was basically not trying to teach improv, but trying to bring that concept of those of us that are just in that moment and we don't choreograph and we're just listening and feeling. And how do you teach others to do that, either whether they're using improv or choreography? Because it's a hard thing to do. It took me a long time.
I think there's definitely some vulnerability involved in this as well. It's very easy to say, I'm going to pick, the coolest movements or the most precise movements, but I'm going to open myself up and share this is a little bit trickier.
It is. It is. I think to me, belly dancing is such a personal dance. We really expose ourselves. And I don't mean that in a physical way. I mean it in a very, very deep emotional way. It's such an emotional dance to me. Whether even if that emotion is happy, we see it on the stage. And I think that's but sometimes we'll hold someone back because then they get caught up in the moves because that sometimes can be more comfortable. Hey, I learned this combination, and so therefore I'm going to show this combination to the people, which can be awesome. But then when you add in the emotion, then people are right there with you and following you and feel it. And it's not about the moves then. It's about like, wow, look what that performer did, not only physically, but that I really felt that. And so not all choreographies need to have some deep emotional attachment, but at the same time, I don't think any of us want to watch robots. So it's just adding that personal side in. And so it's a fun way. The feedback I've gotten, really and truly, a lot of people have said, hey, I don't know that I'll be comfortable yet to take this new emotion onto the stage, but I never tapped into maybe being dark or being sexy. And we all do it together. So no one really, I won't ever force someone to do a particular emotion, obviously. But at the same time, it's very comfortable because no one's really watching each other when we're doing some of these exercises. It's not like that. You're not on display. The way I've designed it is you're working together and you're all in that same emotion together, which I think kind of makes it a little more comfortable because somebody doesn't feel singled out. And so they get to experiment. I recently taught this in Wyoming, and some of the feedback I got was that people had just never even tried on that emotion. And that's how I approach it. Let's try this on. Let's try this on like a piece of clothing and give it a go.
I use that metaphor too. I think that's one of the most helpful things.
Right? I'm like, let's try this on and just, if it doesn't fit, just give it a try. And then maybe it's not the right one for you. So, but a lot of people have found actually that it's kind of fun to sample where maybe they've never sampled or where they didn't think they could. So, and it just becomes a lot of game playing, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I think that takes the pressure off.
And how did you get interested in this topic in the first place, or why did you decide to offer this one?
Well, I actually come from a theatrical background. I danced very young. Then I kind of left dance for a while and went into the theater. And so I bring that with me to the stage. Being an improv dancer, you're always thinking. I don't want to make it out to be you're not thinking. But like I said, I'm more in that moment and in the music and listening to what the music does. And then I started teaching that to some of my students and struggled. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to develop a class. And so I started teaching a little class here and there to my students. They were my guinea pigs. And we played with some of this stuff. And then I developed a workshop. And it really came from people saying to me, I love watching you dance because I can see what you're feeling. How do you do that? It came from people asking me. And I thought, how do I do that? Like, I should figure this out. So that's kind of where it came from. And just some personal work that I do comes in. And then I just kind of kept, and then, like I said, every time I've taught it, this will be the third time I've ever taught it. And I'm going to take the feedback from the recent and keep evolving this to make it better and better. Mm-hmm.
And who is this workshop appropriate for? Are there particular styles or levels or personalities who would get more out of it than others?
This workshop is open for all levels. I have had brand new performers, people that have not even done their first performance that have come in and really enjoyed it. And I've had the experience level dancer that maybe is, exactly what you and I are talking about in terms of, I've never tried various emotions. I want you to make me do this. And so it's all levels. Style-wise, there are no limits because I don't try to change anyone's style of dance. It is not a technique workshop. It is a concept workshop. So therefore, really, you can come in with your own background and your own level and participate still because it's just really open. So all levels and all styles. Wouldn't even just have to be belly dance. It could be other dancers too. I mean, it would be hard because some of the stuff we do use is belly dance based, but again, I don't try to change the way someone does it or their costuming or anything.
And is there one tip from your session that you could share with us now?
Let's see. That's a good question. So I think the main thing is to approach dance with that memory of why did we come? And that's something that we talk about to get started. We talk about what brought us into this dance and pulling back that emotion of why am I here? And then when we start to look at music, we ask that same question, why this piece of music? And to me, when you go back to those basics and you go, oh yeah, I've been all caught up in this technique and these cool combos, but that's what brought me here originally. So the tip is go back and look at why do I keep coming back, and a lot of the answers are right there for you.
And what are some of the answers that people have to that question?
Most of the women say for fun, for sisterhood, meeting people, including the males too. We don't want to leave the guys out, but that meeting people, that joining and community. But most of all, the most common answer I get is I came to this to have some fun and get a little exercise and just enjoy myself and have something just for me. Those are probably the most common answers I've gotten.
And what are you most excited about for this year's intensive?
Oh, I love this intensive every single year. I've been going for quite a number of years now. And I'm excited. The lineup is amazing. The shows, I know they'll be amazing. And I have no idea. 2015, I think, is just going to be an amazing year. Obviously, I'm hoping that it won't end. But if it is our final year, then we're going to go out with a bang, I think. So I'm just excited to be a part of it, to be honest. And I always love going.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Phoenix.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you'd like to learn more from Phoenix, you can check her out at phoenix-dancing.com. Or better yet, join us at the intensive. This is the last time that this epic event will be held, so don't miss out. You can register now at bellydanceintensive.com. And to listen to more interviews with our fabulous instructors, visit bellydancegeek.com/Vegas 2015.